ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern on ABC.
Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast all afternoon, even as we head into the evening. Now, the day is not going to be a complete wash, but just understand that scattered showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast through the entirety of the afternoon. We're going to keep with this opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head into the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. As a matter of fact, it's going to stick with us through Wednesday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
College football.
The ball is caught. It is a touchdown.
Major League Baseball.
That ball is gone. A home run.
This is your place for complete sports coverage all year long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Thom Abraham Show. This 2-hour exercise in sports talk radio excellence. Glad that you have joined us. We have got a lot to do today. It is a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. We do have one of those for you today, kind of a list. You know, it has a hardball theme to it since, you know, it is baseball season, you know, while the NBA and the NHL decide to take the week off before getting to their final and their finals. By the way, speaking of that, I've been thinking about this. I used to do this in the past. I think that we're going to do a puck and hoop trifecta on Thursday. You got to say that slowly now, okay? A puck and hoop trifecta. You give me the winner of each of the 2 finals and how many games in each of the 2 finals. You know what I mean? We'll do this on Thursday. You say, you know, Oilers in 6 and Celtics in 5. You know, whatever it is that you want to make your picks. And we'll feed everyone who gets it right. We'll just feed everyone that gets it right. Grizz is tired of all of the stuff that he has in the prize drawer. He has, like, all kinds of food in the prize drawer. And whatever isn't stolen by other members of the radio station, we need to give away. So we're going to try and give away as much of it as possible. I'm going to call it the Puck and Hoop trifecta. I wonder if Captain Cool is listening. The Puck and Hoop trifecta. Go ahead, do a image for that for Thursday. Because we don't have a show. Well, we have like 20 minutes tomorrow. We got Braves baseball tomorrow against the Red Sox. I mean, that's a pretty, sexy deal. We got Braves and Red Sox tomorrow on our air, beginning at 12:35. So I don't know what they want me to do. You want me to do 25 minutes? You want to carry the Braves pregame? I mean, it's up to you guys. I may or may not be on the air tomorrow. We'll see. But then we're back for Thursday and Friday as well. I'll see what Steve says. After all, he's the program director, I'll see what he says, get his opinion on it, and generally do, when it comes to programming, I generally try to fall in line with, what Steve says. Maybe. But we'll see. Anyway, don't mess that up. When we say, when you want to get in on the Puck and Hoop trifecta, don't mess that up. Just say it slow. Don't get us in trouble. All right, so today's top 10 is going to deal with Major League Baseball's decision to include the Negro Leagues in the MLB records. And I got to be honest with you, there are so many layers to this. There's the politically correct way to deal with it, but there's I think you got to have an honest discussion about it. So many different layers to it, including even using the term Negro Leagues. That's what they were called then, but that's not really a word that we use anymore. And I have seen more and more references to them being called the Black Leagues. And some of the teams have black in their name, like the Black Yankees. And I think there were a few others that used that term that might have used, a nickname of a major league team, and they were the Black Yankees. Our boy Yankee Eddie, back in the day, great listener to the show. Might still be listening. He might just not be able to call anymore. Yankee Eddie, just a good guy. He would show up. He would show up and he became Black Yankee Eddie. He was Yankee Eddie for years, and then he showed up at a remote with a Black Yankees jersey on. He became Black Yankee Eddie. So it wasn't Black Yankee Eddie as an adjective. It was Black Yankee Eddie as a noun. That became his name, if you will. It wasn't we were saying, hey, it's Black Yankee Eddie because he's a black guy. But this whole Negro League thing, I honestly wonder how African Americans feel about the term. We were told that we couldn't say Redskins anymore. Do we use that historically? Do we say, back when Joe Gibbs was winning Super Bowls for the Washington Commanders? No. I think typically we say Redskins then. But Negro Leagues, I would love to hear from a black listener on that. And get their thoughts about whether or not it is something that they view as nostalgic or a term of endearment, or does it conjure up thoughts of an awful time in our history? I can't speak to it, so I'm not a brother. It's just the same thing I said about the Redskins thing. I'm not the whitest guy around, but I'm not a brother, and I'm not a Native American, so I can't speak to it. Then there are the records themselves, sketchy as they are. In a lot of cases, they've taken about 75% of the records that they can get in official Negro League games, because there was a lot of barnstorming going on. And they had to determine, was this an official Negro League game or was this a barnstorming game? I don't know. Now, listen, I am one who has always said that I take pre-1947, pre-Jackie Robinson MLB records with a grain of salt. And look, when Jackie Robinson came in, it's not like, they integrated baseball and 30% of the players were black. That wasn't the case. When Jackie Robinson came in, there was one. You know, and then there was a couple of more and more. It wasn't like all the great African-American players were all of a sudden playing in the major leagues. They still had the Negro leagues and stuff going on. And they would have big crowds at those games. I mean, they were packed houses. There's a lot of talk about this because of the Rickwood Classic that's coming up. So there's been a lot of talk about the Negro Leagues because they've been, you know, they'll be celebrated at the Rickwood Classic. Where I think what they called the Black Barons. I think they were called the Black Barons, where they played back in the day. But I always said that you got to take the pre-1947 Major League records with a grain of salt, since those players, including Babe Ruth, and we talk about the home runs and everything else, those players were not playing against all the best players in the world at the time because they weren't playing against, you know, African Americans that were locked out of baseball. But you know what? That's been the case throughout the history of baseball. What about the great Latin players that didn't play in the States? And let me tell you this. Let me say this. I know that when they had the Negro Leagues, they had, you know, a ton of players, you know, on all these teams and so on. But that doesn't mean that they were all major league quality players. Now, some of the players that were in the all-white major leagues would have been bounced out of the major leagues by African-American players. But how many of them? I mean, just do the math by percentage. When you look at the sheer size of our population, 14% African-American population. So how many were major league quality that were locked out? And how many that were playing in the majors would have been bounced out to make room for African-American players? And where are the Latin players in all of this? I mean, you look at Major League Baseball now, there's a heck of a lot more Latin players than there are black players or African-American players. Now, there are black Latin players. But in terms of African-American players, I may just be making this up. I'll put the crack research crew on it. I think only 6 to 8%, somewhere in there, 6 or 7% of all of Major League Baseball is African-American players. I'm talking about Americans. There's a lot of Latin players. And they didn't play in the States back then. What if they didn't want to play in the States? And then you got, you know, what about the Asian players? What about the Japanese players? I mean, there were many great Asian players out there before they started coming over and playing in the majors. Sadahara Ho hit 868 home runs. You think he was major league quality? Do we look at his 868 home runs and say, well, you know, yeah. 6.3%, the research team says. 6.3% of baseball players are black. So 30% are Hispanic or Latino. So I'm no math major. That means about 60% of them are white dudes. So just by numbers, you'd say, well, how many of them, you know, would play? We're up to 3.2% Asian. There used to be like, you know, Hideki or Suzuki was it. Ichiro Suzuki. Boom, that was it. Remember, it used to say Ichiro. It didn't say Ichiro his whole career. It said Ichiro on his jersey but that's not really, that's not right. It doesn't say Shohei on the back of Shohei Ohtani's jersey. Remember, it said Ichiro on his jersey for years, and then baseball said, no, it should say Suzuki. This is America. We use your last name over here, not your first name. So anyway, I know it's a touchy subject, but we have changed some things. We have changed some big-time records now. The single-season batting average record is now held by Josh Gibson at 466, replacing a record that was held by Ty Cobb, who ironically was a raging racist. But just think about that for a second. 466. We don't know what the quality was that he was going against. Yeah, did he face Satchel Paige? There's one. But the depth, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. The depth of players in the Negro Leagues. Some of those guys may have been single A or double A type guys. We don't know. The records are sketchy. You have to go back. All right, who the scorekeeper was, and was he given a hit for everything that was it would have been an error, or that was a hit. We just give him a hit because he got on base. I mean, I feel like, look, you got Japanese baseball. They got their records. They're Japanese baseball. You got Major League Baseball, and there's been a standard in terms of how Major League Baseball was run. It was horrific that the players in the Negro Leagues were not allowed to play in Major League Baseball. It was absolutely a terrible time in our history. But does that make the Negro Leagues major leagues? I don't know that that's necessarily the case. We just want to be politically correct, and it's a feel-good story. But I don't know that it isn't revisionist history. That's my question. Why is it that it just can't be what it was? Those are those records in those times. This guy did this in the Negro Leagues. This guy did this in Major Leagues. This guy did this in Japan, in the Nippon baseball. Why is it that we have to try and change history? Roy Johnson at AL.com writing a story headline, Negro League players knew they were good enough, now everyone does. Oh, really? All of them? Every one of them. Yeah, I get Willie Mays, I get Hank Aaron, I get Jackie Robinson, I get that. But are we really all of them? They all knew that they were good enough, and now everybody knows that they're good enough. Some may not have been. And I'll give you that some playing in Major League Baseball wouldn't have been playing in Major League Baseball if you had, integration and not segregation. But the reality is, how many? What do you think? You think that there would have been 20 black guys and 4 white guys on a team? How many of those guys were good enough to play Major League Baseball with the best players in the world? Remember, they're only 14% of the society, and they're 6% of baseball now. So even then, 10%, 12%? How many players are on a baseball team? 25. Go 20%. 20%. That would be 5 players per team. 5. 5 players per team. Out of 25, it would be 5. So we're going to change the record books for that. And just say, it was Major League Baseball. I don't. Was it Major League Baseball? I don't know if I'm going. I know it's a subject you don't want to talk about. I get it, but I got to throw it out there. So that's on the table. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll talk some country hardball with Josh Carey in Carey's Corner. At the top of the one, David Moulton, whose show Miller and Moulton in the Morning starts your day off at 5 on Talk Radio WZZN, our sister station. He'll join us with his thoughts on all things sports, including why USC they just don't want any part of LSU, man. They just don't want to play that game in Vegas against LSU. I understand that USC's now in the Big Ten, but you know what? Put your big boy pants on. Suck it up, Buttercup. You booked a game with LSU, you're going to play LSU. Is Alabama not going to play Wisconsin now that they got to go play Oklahoma? No. You play Wisconsin. Play Oklahoma. Play LSU. Play Tennessee. Play Georgia. Oh, wait, we got to play Georgia. We got to play Tennessee. We don't want to go play Wisconsin. I'm going to make us go to Oklahoma. Shut up and play. All right, phone lines are open 256-576-4977. 256-576-4977. You can text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. That is a great way to communicate with us. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can get a link there to our YouTube channel, WZZN TV. Like and subscribe on YouTube and get notifications. Go to 977ESPN.com, get links to all of that stuff. While you're at it, get our app. Just search 97.7 ESPN The Zone from your app store, and you get the app. Then you get links to Zone 2, 3, 4, and 5 as well. Our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. And snag your Talk Radio WZZN app as well for more great options, including the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Check out our calendar of all games on 97.7ESPN.com. In fact, it'll tell you the games, and it'll tell you where you can see us out on remotes. All right, over there playing the Platters That Matter, the Stacks of Wax, Man in the Phones, keeping us on the air. It's the one and the only DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today.
What's that?
Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Hey, Grizz, I'm trying to use this their YouTube thing, chatty thing,
okay,
which I put out there, but I don't know who it's saying I am because I'm not logged in as me. So I responded to some guy named Michael Weeks. Who the hell is Michael Weeks? I mean, I never heard of no damn Michael Weeks calling this radio show.
Never heard of that guy.
I don't know who the hell that guy is. Michael Weeks.
Yeah.
So apparently this Michael Weeks is talking there on the
It's
deal.
over here. I don't have it in front of me.
He says another washed out day. It did rain a little while ago. Is it raining again? Is it?
Yeah,
who the hell knows?
It did rain a little bit on the way in.
Well, it rained earlier.
Yeah,
I know that,
yeah.
But I mean, is it raining now? We don't know.
Yeah,
we're locked in the attic.
We don't have
How
windows.
do we know if it's raining now?
Yeah,
we don't know what's going on.
Yeah. By the way, so the whole time that you were talking about this whole Negro League situation, the stats, and everything like that.
Yeah.
People don't realize the Negro Southern League was from 1920 until probably about like 1940, 1950. That was actually 1 year of Major League quote, Major League like baseball. The rest of it was quote minor leagues.
Yeah.
Because you had the Alabama Crackers who were in the Southern League and they played for a long time, and that was a minor league team.
Can we say that? No, I mean we
Alabama
can say
Crackers.
I mean, we can say Negro
that's
League.
a team.
Can we say Crackers?
I mean that's a team. So,
yeah.
But you had the Alabama Black Crackers, who is a Negro League team that played in the Negro
the Black Crackers?
Southern League.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you had the Black Barons and the Black Yankees too. Remember the Black Yankees? There was the New York Black Yankees as well.
Well, the year that I was talking about Black Yankee Eddie about that. Yeah. The year that Josh Gibson hit 466 to set the record.
Yeah, the
now,
Grays.
The all-time,
for the Grays, right?
For the all-time record for the highest batting average in a season.
Yeah.
466. He had 250 at-bats. Well, what is that? How many games is that?
Yeah.
Right?
I think it was over 70 games, I think, or something like that.
What the hell is that? That's not a full – so, again, we're going to call it a Major League record.
That was another thing I think I heard before.
It's a Major League record.
It was over 70 games.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 70 games. How is that a Major League record? Maybe he would go into a slump.
Yeah.
He could have gone into a 6-week slump for all we know. I mean, that's what I don't understand is that it's apples and oranges. Why can't it just be the greatest records in that particular game? In that particular league at the time.
Yeah. No, I completely get it.
Not the same.
Yeah. I completely get it. It just doesn't make any sense when you're trying to compare two. You're trying to compare. It's like the whole Caitlin Clark situation. You're trying to compare a record based off just the sport alone.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to do it that way because it really doesn't, because it's not the same
Clark
competition.
Is not the all-time scoring
competition.
leader in college basketball history.
Yeah.
She's not. She's the all-time women's scoring leader in college basketball. Pete Maravich is the all-time scoring leader in men's college basketball. It's a different game.
Yeah. And it's a different. I mean, it's a different game when you're talking about it. Are we going to start incorporating what the Trash Pandas do in the major leagues and take all their stats and say, hey, this averages because they played in the Southern League, and it just
the
doesn't
difference
make...
is now. Wait a minute. The difference is that
some of the Negro League games were minor league games.
There's no doubt. Yeah, but those they supposedly didn't count those. They only counted 75%.
Okay.
It had to be an official. Major League Negro League.
So it was like
season.
From the 40s to the 50s.
Yeah,
and
whatever
the
for
20s.
that team. But I mean, other teams played in the 20s. The thing is, there was barnstorming. You don't know how the record keeping was.
Right.
Who is it? Maybe it was Josh Gibson's brother that was keeping the scorebook. And every time he got on base, they called it a hit.
Yeah.
There was no errors.
It was like the team mom.
You don't know. Yeah. It's a different standard in this rush. I don't know.
I'm not trying to diminish away from everything that's
going
on.
No, but why can't it just be the best in what they are?
Yeah. I like it.
Joey in here.
Make it a whole situation like in the all the Hall of Fame and everything.
Well, Saturada Hall. Well, they're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
but the thing is that is because it's the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's not the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
Right.
It's not the Saturada Hall hit 828 home runs. What do we do with that?
Yeah.
Is he the all-time home run leader? Let me get Joey in here. Joey, welcome to the show. How are you? Joey, you there?
I put him on. I know I didn't hang up on him, and if I did, call back, Joey.
Joey, call back in case we screwed that up. What did Joey have? Do you know? God, I'd love to get his take on it. All right, we're going to get Josh Carey's take on it as well. And we'll do that next. Right here on the Tom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship in insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Gunners Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunners Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunners Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunners Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunners Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunners Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
Our steady diet consists of food and football, and occasionally some baseball and hoops.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by our friends at Owen Appliance Center. That's right, Mike Owen and his team at Owen Appliance Center are featuring the biggest names in home appliances, plus some you may not even know, but offer tremendous value. And speaking of value, you got to get down to the Lacey Springs showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, where you'll find a totally interactive showroom. And you can go in there and hear dishwashers wash, although you won't hear them because they're so quiet. You can hear the freezers freeze, although you won't hear them because they're so quiet. You can have them bake some cookies for you. They'll do that in the double ovens there. It's just incredible. And they'll even wash a load of clothes for you if you need to see how great the washer and dryers are. And they even got washer and dryers that are like one machine. It's really, really cool. Check them out. Quality pricing, quality service, quality products. It's all in the name for Owen Home Appliance Center. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, getting ready for a nice little homestand coming up against the Chattanooga Lookouts, is the one and only Josh Carey with a little Carey's Corner. Josh, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm excited to get back to the ballpark. Team's playing well, and, they're taking on a team that's struggling a little bit. Hopefully our guys can get some wins this week.
Yeah, 26 and 25 now, a game over 500, or a half a game over 500, depending on how you look at what 500 is. But in any event, they're a game over. And so what are we, 51 games in? How many games are left in the first half? What do we go to, about 60-something, 68, 69?
69. So we got 3 more weeks to go.
So 3 more weeks to go. It's going to be awfully tough to catch this Birmingham team. 7 games back now of Birmingham. But the key is playing well, as you say, and and being able to get kick-started and carry that over into the second half, regardless of what happens in the first half. What's been the key for this team finding some consistency?
Well, it's funny. You look back to last week. I wish I could sit here and say they earned a couple of victories, but the fact is Birmingham had some really bad pitching. A ton of walks to get a win on Wednesday, a ton of walks to get another win on Sunday. But I would say probably the most consistent part of the team has been the pitching. I mean, the starting pitching's been a little up and down, but the bullpen has been terrific. And it gets to a point where if you can get it past the 5th inning and you're still in the ball game, you give yourself a chance to win. And that's just how good the pen has been. The hitting, I would like to see it get a little bit better. There's not a ton of pop in the lineup, but you have a lot of singles guys who can maybe string a few things together. The Trash Pandas are in a spot where if they can get 4 to 5 runs a ball game, they have a chance to win. I mean, that's just how good the bullpen is. That's how good the pitching is. They got Orlando Martinez back last week, so that's going to add a little bit more firepower to the bats. But if that can get going, then this has a chance to be a really good ball club.
So what's the deal with this pickleball night coming up on Sunday? Are they setting up pickleball courts there, or they got to play against Josh Carey in pickleball? What's the deal with that thing?
Well, they're not playing against me, that's for sure. I do know that we're going to have some sort of court set up. It's going to be in the outfield experience, which is beyond the left center field wall. And we'll have some court set up for people to participate and have a little bit of fun before the Sunday ball game. I have seen pickleball. I have heard of pickleball. I don't know a whole lot about it, but apparently it's really catching on. People love it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, my wife and I play pickleball. It is great. It's supposed to be something that, it's like ping pong on steroids. You know what I mean? It's like a big ping pong table, or it's mini tennis. Either way you want to look at it. But it's addictive. I thought it was, crazy. I first saw it in Florida years ago when it was first coming out, and they got all the old people down there playing pickleball and started replacing tennis courts until I played it. Then when I played it, I was like, this is addictive, man. It's a fun game to play. And so, yeah, I mean, you get on down there and check it out, pickleball night. Now, are they giving away, like, paddles and things like that for the first so many people? What's the deal with that?
No, I think they're going to be sharing paddles out there.
Oh, okay.
So it'll only be a couple of courts, and once you're done, you hand the paddle to someone who's working the courts and hand it over to the next person. But that's not a bad idea. That might be on the promotion schedule next year.
Well, they were using it in their, in the promo for it at the website. They show a paddle with a Trash Panda logo on it. So I didn't know if that was just for, the visual or what the deal was there. So Ben Joyce goes up to the big team. What's the deal with that? His numbers wouldn't indicate that you would necessarily want to take Ben Joyce straight to the major leagues, but it looks like they're going to try and figure out what they got with this kid.
Well, yeah, he's been really good. I would say the last 8 weeks or so. He got off to a terrible start. Could not get the ball over the plate, but once he started to locate his pitches, he was pretty tough to beat. Still got some things to work on. Command is still an issue. But, if you're the Angels, you're kind of at a point where the team's not playing that well. You got some young talent in the minor leagues. This guy has a chance, Ben specifically has a chance to be a big league closer one day. Why not call him up and see what you got? And you can work with him on the fly a little bit. Needless to say, I don't expect to see him back here ever again. You just send him on up, kind of like what they did with Kyron Paris. Send him on up, work with him, learn on the job, if you will, and see if he really has what it takes to be a major leaguer. And he'll have at least until the end of the season to prove himself. It's tough for Rocket City just because we love watching him pitch, but again, at the end of the day, is seeing these guys elevate to the major leagues one day, and hopefully all will work out for Ben, and he has a nice long career.
Yeah, and that will be the case, I would think. And hopefully the weather straightens up. I think we're going to be fine tonight. There's been, of course, some rain in the area earlier here in the day. But the one thing about that field, man, it drains so well that, it can rain right up to almost game time and be very little, if any, delay.
Yeah, Charlie Weaver, our groundskeeper, has done a tremendous job the last several years. The rain looks a little shaky for tomorrow, too, but then after that, the weekend really, really looks good. So it's going to be a fun time. Should be a lot of fun at the ballpark. Have some great promotions this week. We'll have fireworks on Friday and Saturday, and got a whole bunch of other things going on. We're going to have our next dog day tomorrow night. That should be fun as well. And again, we're just in the middle of summer, and this is what minor league baseball is all about, coming out to the ballpark every night and having a chance to experience something different. We're going to have a Pete the Cat appearance on Thursday, and
nice.
You can bring your cat to the ball game. So we're getting the cats involved too.
With the NHL and the NBA finals not beginning until later in the week, it's almost like baseball in general kind of has this week to itself, and you wonder whether or not you see a little bit of a spike, in the baseball numbers in terms of people just watching a ball game. I know last night. Of course, I'd watch the Yankees every night, but they were off last night, so I'm sitting there, I'm just going to watch some baseball game, some random baseball game, and you wonder whether or not baseball, gets a little bit of a spike this week. It's a great week because it's coming to an end where, in the other sports where it's going to be nothing but baseball.
Yeah, well, now kids are out of school too, and so that's big. Obviously this will be an interesting week to watch, but I'll tell you what I was really impressed with was the NCAA regionals. We were talking about college baseball last week. My God. Some of those places, Florida State, Georgia, Oklahoma, I mean, those have always been big baseball schools, but you don't really understand just how big it is until a regional happens and they get 8,000 to 10,000 people in those tiny stadiums. That's impressive to watch. So this is a great time to write for baseball. And if you're not in an NBA or an NHL city like a Huntsville, this is going to be the talk of the town until we get to about mid-August.
And 5 SEC teams got through. 5 of the 11 SEC teams got through. I was a little disappointed South Carolina and Vanderbilt. Those were the 2 that I thought had a chance to get through, even though they were 2 seeds. But Tennessee and Kentucky are there. Georgia and Florida are there. Texas A&M is there as well. So it'll be interesting. Of the 5, I'm going to say 3 make it to Omaha, and I think that would be something pretty significant, for 3 SEC teams to be in, in the 8 teams that make it to Omaha.
Yeah, in a way, you could almost say that's kind of a down year. I mean,
yeah.
you don't want to scoff at it by any means, but the SEC, it's getting to a point now where if they don't get at least half the field, that's a bit of a surprise. But you're right. If they get 3 in there, I think they're pretty pleased about it. I think Kentucky and Tennessee both have tremendous opportunities. Georgia's going to be at home this week, so I think their chances are pretty good as well. But people talk about football and the SEC and how tough football is, and it is. I don't think there's a sport that has more parity throughout that entire conference or in any conference in America than SEC baseball.
Yeah.
You go up and down the line, 1 to 14, every single team in that league can beat someone else. I mean, that's just how good it is. And they're going to get Oklahoma. They're going to get Texas next year. It's only getting better. SEC baseball might be the single best collegiate sport out there.
Yeah, I would agree. Josh Carey with us here. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. We got word officially. We knew this was coming last year, but we got word officially now that Major League Baseball has incorporated the records from the Negro Leagues as Major League records, which means that Roy Campanella now is the youngest player ever to play Major League Baseball because he was 15 years old when he played 6 games for the Washington Elite Giants in 1937. And everybody is, hip, hip, hooray on this, and I get it. In my view, has been a little bit of, we know so little about the competition. We know so little about the depth. Some of the records are sketchy. They're trying to do the best they can to determine what's legitimate records, record keeping and box scores and things like that. Why the rush to have to include these with Major League Baseball records as opposed to just leave it as this is what it was in the Negro Leagues and this is what it was in the Major Leagues at that time, understanding that we didn't have the best players, necessarily 100% all playing in the same league?
Yeah, I think it's mostly a PR move. I mean, baseball has struggled for decades to reach out to the African-American demographic, and so this is a great way to try and do that. Baseball has such a tremendous and rich history, and yet its baseball players were kept out of that rich history because of things that were beyond their control. I agree with you. I think the intention is in the right place, right? But I can't compare the Indianapolis Clowns playing a ball game compared to the Boston Red Sox, right? Ted Williams played 19 seasons, 140 games plus a year, 150, 160 games plus. You realize that Josh Gibson only played about 600 career professional baseball games?
Yeah.
That's just too – I can't. It's not an apples to apples comparison, and I get what Major League Baseball is doing, and the heart's in the right place, but it just does not add up. And I'd like to think that maybe at some point people will look at this and realize that you have to separate them in some manner or form, because you're right, the competition was not as good in the Negro League, even though they had the best players, and simply a lot of these guys who had great careers did not have very long careers either. I do feel that they should be honored and appreciated in some sort of way. I have no problem with including them in our baseball reference and the almanacs and things like that.
Yeah.
But to try and
The Hall of
compare
Fame.
Negro League the Hall of Fame, I'm great with that too. But to compare the Negro League to Major League Baseball during that era, it's not apples to apples. So I think they're going too far.
we just don't know what the depth was of the league. Because, right now there's 6% is African Americans make up Major League roster, 6%. So even if we say then it was 20%, let's say 20% of those guys were capable of playing in the Major League. There was great players there. There was no doubt there was great players there. But that still means that 80% of them would have been the guys that were already in the major leagues, which means that a lot of these hits or home runs or records and so on, that if we're even to believe that the record keeping was 100% accurate, a lot of this is going against players that maybe 80% of them would have never been major leaguers, and maybe they were single A or double A guys for all we know.
Yeah.
And then you look at the seasons. Now Josh Gibson has the all-time record for the highest batting average in a season when he hit 466, and we're like, oh my God, he hit 466. It was a 70-game season. There's no allowance there for that month that a guy goes cold or something like that. How do you compare a 70-game season to a 154-game or 162-game season? I don't understand how you do that. So, those are the things that to me, the depth and then also the differences in the game itself, I don't know how you compare those. He only had 250 at-bats the year he hit 466, which is, amazing that he hit 466. But who was the scorekeeper? What was the standard? What was considered a hit? And yet we just pushed Ty Cobb aside, a noted racist, by the way. We just pushed Ty Cobb aside and say Josh Gibson now had the greatest season ever at 466.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. And for all we know, he was going up against the guy who would be a Division III pitcher, right? So yeah, at the end of the day, we're never going to know entirely because of some awful laws and rules and segregation and things like that were in place back then. You can't change the past. And it just feels like, in this regard, baseball's trying to do that to a degree, and you just can't do it. Again, the heart's in the right place, but it's a little misguided.
Yeah. Manny Minoso, who becomes one of just 294 players now with at least 2,000 career hits, because he picks up 150 hits for his time with the New York Cubans from 1946 to 1948. And now they include those in there. And to me, you're also opening Pandora's box. First of all, what about all the Latin players that didn't play back then? And who knows what they were doing in their leagues? And, oh, by the way, we're seeing the impact now of Asian players, Japanese players in the major leagues. There were great Asian players that never came up. Sadarada Ho hit 868 home runs. Is he the home run leader now? Do we make him the home run leader? Because, we're learning that, that Japanese baseball is pretty good baseball. There's a number of guys that play Japanese baseball that are good enough to play in the majors. It's just the depth isn't there. And that's what the same scenario probably back then. So, that's the things, those are the things that you open up Pandora's box with.
Well, but the biggest difference is there's an ugly history with white America in regards to black America in the past.
Oh, yeah.
You can't really say that. You can't really say that about Latin America or Japan outside of World War II, of course.
Yeah.
But that's the reason. Again, there's a lot of PR being attached to all this, and for a league that is struggling to attract African American fans and players, I get why they're doing it. I just don't like the way they're doing it.
Yeah, I don't think – I wish there were ways that they could make the game more affordable again the way it used to be. I mean, it's gotten so expensive for kids to play baseball with travel ball and everything else. They need to get back into the inner cities, do those types of things. I don't think there's a lot of kids out there, black kids, that are going to decide to play baseball now because they found out that some dude in 1928 – had X number of home runs, in the Negro leagues. I don't think that's resonating, with that. They're probably thinking, what the hell are they saying Negro leagues for? Why are we using that terminology? And something a word that is not in our lexicon anymore, except for when we refer to the Negro league. So it's
But you know what? I'm glad you brought this up. You want to get back into the inner cities and attracting African American youth. One thing that's going to happen, and I really feel this, Tom, I think it's going to have to happen organically, and it has a chance to. I mean, you look at football right now, and you hear about CTE and concussion testing and the long-term impact of that. I think slowly but surely you're going to see a lot of African-American kids who would otherwise play football maybe turn to baseball because that's the only other option. So I feel like that since in my time with the Trash Pandas, which is now 4 years, I've slowly seen more and more African Americans start to play ball again. It's not a lot, but it's more than what I saw when I was in Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
It's going to happen eventually. I think you'll start to see more African Americans turn back to this sport, but you got to be patient with it. It can't be a quick thing. It's got to be natural. It's got to be organic. And if they do that, I think over time it will happen.
I remember I was watching a game. This was several years ago, but I was watching a game on TV, and it was two HBCU schools, and it was Bethune-Cookman, and I forget who they were playing, maybe Florida A&M, something like that, I think is who they were playing. And 3/4 of the players on both teams were white, and it was there wasn't enough young African American players to fill out college teams at the HBCU level, and that's sad because they're great athletes of all colors should be able to play this great game of baseball. So, we'll see what the impact is. But Josh Carey has been our guest. Josh will be down there doing the games all week long from down there at Toyota Field. Go on down there, take in a game, and if you can't take in a game, tune them in. Our sister station, Talk Radio WZZN, has the game over the air digitally at 97.7-2, and then, of course, on the app as well. You can check them out there, too. Josh, appreciate you always. Continue the great work.
All right. Appreciate it, Tom. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you. We'll get a break in. We'll come back, and we'll wrap up hour number one next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas host the Chattanooga Lookouts tonight at 6:20 on Talk Radio WZZN, 97.7 HD2, and the Talk Radio WZZN app.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Springs showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio. And have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also carry the small tools that can help you with your DIY project. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and ask for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Allman Brothers are brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. Thousands of area residents have received world-class care from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. TOC services the Huntsville Havoc, the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, and most of the high schools in the region. 13 locations throughout the Tennessee Valley. If you have an orthopedic problem or are considering professional care, TOC is the only logical choice. Whether you have a work-related injury or got sidelined playing a sport you love, you need the best care, the best physicians, the best facility to get you back in the game. I think you'll agree that that's TOC and that they are right for you. Speaking of the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, I counted about 15 white players on the Alabama A&M baseball roster, much more so than on the football roster, but about 15 on the baseball roster. And most of the baseball teams at HBCUs are, have a good amount of integration. That are a mix between, white and black players. In fact, the leading hitter on Alabama's team is a redheaded kid by the name of Tristan Curlis, who hit .327 this season. And I wonder how A&M would do against UAH. You know what I mean? I wonder how they would. They played UNA and got thrashed. They played Tennessee this year, by the way. Got beat 20-2 by the number one team in the country. But I wonder how they would do against UAH. That would be an interesting thing, to do a weekend series, A&M and UAH, and call it, the
Rocket City Classic.
Rocket City Classic or something, or Rocket City Cup or whatever.
Can't take that name.
Take it to Toyota Field and have A&M and UAH play.
Toyota,
even one game, and call it the Rocket City Cup. I wonder how. I don't know. I don't know if they've ever played. I don't know how they would do against. I don't know how they stack up Division II, versus.
I know A&M played a game at Toyota just past season, but
I mean against UAH.
UAH would be nice. Yeah,
get that deal done. All right, let me get Keith, the Michigan fan, in here. Keith, welcome in. How are you?
Doing all right, big dog. Hey, I can't speak on the history of the Negro League. When I went to Kansas City, I went to the Hall of Fame that they have there. Yeah, and it was pretty interesting. But as a kid, I knew nothing about it growing up in Detroit. But one thing I did know is that as a kid, we all loved baseball. Mm-hmm. And we would take our neighborhood team. We would go to other neighborhoods and ask, can anybody play baseball? Meet us at the field. By the time we got to the field in that neighborhood, kids was coming from everywhere to play us.
Yeah.
a good movie to watch. If some of your listeners may want to watch it, let's watch it. Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Star.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, it had from Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor, yeah.
Billy D. Williams, James Earl Jones. Now, Satchel Paige was one of the when he got to the pros or Major League Baseball, he was 50-something.
Yeah.
He was too old. But during his prime, he would have his team come in and strike out the side.
Yeah.
Now, Josh Gibson, the reason why Major League Baseball didn't take him, he had mental issues.
Oh, yeah, he was nuts.
Yeah, they said he had mental issues, and he could not do what Jackie Robinson can do, which was take the abuse
put up a lot
from
of crap.
the fans.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
thanks
But
for
anyway.
the call, Keith. I got to get the break in here. I appreciate it. I wonder what Keith's take is on the whole issue of being called Negro Leagues. You know, whether that's offensive sounding. Sounds weird. All right, we'll get a break in here. When we come back, David Moulton will join us from Miller & Moulton. We'll get some football in with him. We'll do it next on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Major League Baseball has banned Padres infielder Tucupita Marcano for life for betting on baseball during various points in 2022 and 2023 while he was with the Pirates organization. A's pitcher Michael Kelly suspended 1 year for betting on baseball while he was in the minor leagues. 3 other minor leaguers also suspended 1 year for betting on major league games. Novak Djokovic withdrew from the French Open due to a knee injury suffered in yesterday's win. NFL from ESPN's Adam Schefter, Cowboys receiver CeeDee Lamb not expected to attend mandatory minicamp that opens today as he seeks a contract extension. Mavericks GM Nico Harrison, architect of a team that's reached the NBA Finals for only the third time in franchise history, signed a multi-year extension. Game 1 of the Finals, Dallas-Boston Thursday, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern on ABC.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back, hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. If you're thinking about home improvements, this is the time to do it. Use your home equity, your very high home equity that you have right now, and get that job done. You can always refi later. You might be saying, why would I do that now with the rates being where they're at? Well, you know what? You get the work done, and then you can refi when those rates come down, and they will come down. At some point, they're going to come down somewhat, and then you can go ahead and refi. You could also use that equity in your home to eliminate consumer debt forever and then refi to a lower rate or in a shorter term when the rates drop. Just go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more about it. Brian Hammaker, our friend there, NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. And we want to thank North Alabama Mortgage as well for buying a table for our Woody Anderson Ford Rocket City Awards presented by the Huntsville Sports Commission. Thank you. Yeah, that is coming up 2 weeks from yesterday. All right, that's June 17th down at the Mars Music Hall. It is a outstanding night as we honor all the great athletes, not only athletes that are high school athletes and college athletes in the area, but kids that have come out of the area and then went on to great things at other places at college and so on. And this year's recipient of our Professional Athlete of the Year from the area is good. And I think I'm announcing this for the first time, Grizz, but we leaked this one out there. We've been giving you nominees, nominees and all the other categories. But this year's recipient for the Rocket City Award for the top athlete from the area is Craig Kimbrell.
Right.
So
Congratulations,
Craig Kimbrell, who has now moved to number 5 on the all-time save list, Craig Kimbrell, and, of course, has done a great job for the Phillies, who are just rocking and rolling as well. And, of course, Kimbrell famously with the Braves for many years back in the day. And Grizz,
the Orioles now, right?
I mean, the Orioles now, but he helped the Phillies.
Last two seasons.
Last 2 seasons with the Phillies, now with the Orioles. Where did he play his high school ball?
Lee High School, Lee Generals.
Lee. I always get that confused. For some reason, I have Butler in my head, but yeah, he's elite. He's one of these guys right here. There you go. Is that a general?
He's a general.
Is that a lead general? Yeah, there you go. But he didn't wear this. No, he wore baseball stuff.
I don't think he played football. I'm not sure.
I doubt he played football. So, Craig Kimbrell. There are a limited number of tickets available. Go to the website. Go to the Facebook page. You can see that. You can get tickets to it as well. It's $100 on the floor. $50 gets you in the balcony, and it's a great event. And it's coming up, of course, on June the 17th down at the Mars Music Hall. All right, joining us now, a guy that does a tremendous job. One of these years, we'll get him there, and then he could be one of the presenters at the Rocket City
That's
Awards.
what I was thinking, yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool to have David Moulton there? And he joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline and on WZZN TV as well. David, welcome to the show. How are you?
So I just can't enjoy the night. I have to work. Is that it?
Well, we pull you out of the crowd to do you can't present one award. I mean, one award. You know what I mean?
I think the problem is that everybody in the crowd would be like, "Who? What?"
Well, just no.
I mean, you can't have that.
No, I mean
this sounds like an upscale, important event. You can't have a presenter in which everybody's going, "Do you know who that is?"
It is an upscale event. Actually, Chad is going to do. Chad, did I say you for the Craig Kimbrell?
For the professional, because they met. Because Kyle Wright last year.
Of course, Craig can't come.
Yeah,
but he's sending us a video.
That's fine. I can stand there and
he's
doing
a video.
Face.
Yeah, he's doing a video, and hopefully his family will be there. And but he has we're shipping him the award. It is a thing, David. It really is. This is something that we started last year. These are beautiful trophies that are actual crystal. Engraved trophies that are very, very nice. And last year it was Kyle Wright, the only 20-game winner In Major League Baseball, last year, of course, he was injured, and he's injured this year, still not back. But Kyle Wright from Buckhorn High School, he was our pro athlete of the year, and this time Craig Kimbrough. So we got a rich history.
By the way,
yeah.
Craig Kimbrough, 430 career saves presently.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still, he's still got time to add to that. I mean, he could get to 500 saves.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 36 years old. So, you figure if he tacks on another 20 this year, he gets to around 450, and then maybe 2 more years. I mean, Hall of Famer?
I think, yeah. I mean, closers, it's tough. It takes a minute to get him in there. But I think he has an excellent Hall of Fame credential.
He was the closer when the Red Sox, even though he didn't get the final outs, all right, he was an all-star and the Red Sox closer when they won the World Series in 2018.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you got the numbers there in front of you. I think he's number 5 right now, but I think he's only 7 from number 4. We actually had a meeting on the awards this morning, and we were talking about, that we have the big voice guy, do the bio and all that stuff. And I'm like, I think he's only 6 or 7 away from moving up to number 4. So he might be real close to number 4 by the time we have the awards, but we don't think he'll have, 6 or 7 saves in the next, 2 weeks.
If you're a fan of Kimbrel, I think you have to hope that 1 or 2 more closers get in the Hall of Fame. I think Billy Wagner's still short. If you're a fan of Kimbrel in the Hall of Fame, you want to see more closers get in.
You wonder when the way baseball has gone with the 5-inning start and all of this kind of stuff, you wonder when the time will come that they put a reliever, the guy that's just I mean, I don't even know how you pick a guy anymore, but it's just we've changed the way we value pitching anymore. With the way, if a guy goes 6 innings, they throw him a parade.
Well, I think with the starting pitcher being, diminished as much as they are, they're going to have to put in some pitchers in the next 15, 20 years in the Hall of Fame. They're either going to have to tremendously reduce the qualifications for starters to get in, which I do not want to see happen, or they're just going to have to acknowledge, hey, relievers have never been more important. We need to start putting a few more in.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of records, of course, this is something that we talked about in the first hour with Josh Carey, but get your thoughts on it as well. They've opened up the MLB record book now officially to the players from the Negro Leagues back in the day. And, it has brought some changes. Satchel Paige picks up a bunch of wins. Satchel Paige, by the way, claims that he had 55 no-hitters. Just saying, barnstorming maybe, with the back in the day. But his ERA improved a little bit there. And, of course, we get Josh Gibson's year that he hit 466, now becomes the best single-season record. But, David, that was 250 at-bats. That was a 70-game season, and we're calling it a major league season. And I don't understand why, as awful as that time was, and we understand that Major League Baseball did not have all the best players in the country, but it also didn't have Dominican players. It didn't have the Asian players we have now. Why the records, why we just can't celebrate that league as what those leagues were and the major leagues what the major leagues are, and why we have to call that Major League Baseball and mix these records. I don't get what the purpose is in it, because I think it kind of screws some stuff up.
I think Major League Baseball is ashamed, and just like we should be as a country for how we behaved for certainly the first 2/3 of the 20th century. But I'm with you. While there is absolutely no question that the upper third of the Negro Leagues would have been tremendous in the major leagues, it wasn't Major League Baseball. I'm not a huge proponent of what they did, because then I think we have to be getting pretty close to adding the Japanese numbers to Ichiro and to Sadahara.
868 home runs.
Right. So that's what I would have been saying in the room. I would have been like, listen, I understand the Negro Leagues was 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, but the Japanese leagues of 20, 30, and 40 years ago, are they then of major league caliber? Well, and if so, what are we doing with that? I wouldn't have done it. They did it, quite frankly, Tom. The steroid era blew up the record book. This would have been a huge deal 30 years ago when we really cared about the baseball record book. Mm-hmm. Now, quite frankly, because of the steroid era, we kind of shrug our shoulders at the baseball record book.
Well, one of our listeners did send a text in that is kind of poignant. He said, baseball now, we have the all-time hits leader, the all-time home run leader, and a 7-time Cy Young Award winner not in the Hall of Fame because we bastardized the record book. And I get that. I just, you say a third. I think, right now 6% of Major League Baseball is African-American. I would say, let's say 20% of those players that played in the Negro Leagues, would have been outstanding in Major League Baseball or serviceable as Major League Baseball. I think that would be a significant number when, they only make up 14% of the society. So say 20% of those guys. But the other 80% they're playing against, the second, the third pitcher, the depth, the guy that's playing short that can't field the ball that Josh Gibson hit, that becomes a hit, and he hits 466. The record keeping is sketchy at best. There's a lot of things,
Well, I will say, though, we're at darn near an all-time low, at least in terms of the last 60 years, in terms of, the number of African-American players in Major League Baseball. But if, Tom, if you want to go back, in the 70s and the 80s, the percentage was like triple what it is now. Mm-hmm. So if they had done this then, you could argue actually it's more representative. But I wasn't a fan of it. Yes, I think, we're all embarrassed for how we behaved as a society. But I wish they had, quite frankly, just spent more time and effort promoting what Negro League Baseball was and promoting, and quite frankly, some of those that played in the Negro Leagues and putting them in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. No, you're
right. Like Buck O'Neil. Come on. Or did they finally put Buck in? But they didn't. They didn't put him in when he was alive.
In the 70s, I just looked it up on the Google machine, 20% of Major League Baseball. So you're right, 3 times as many as now.
Right.
20%.
That's where I wish they would put their effort and energy.
Well,
okay, it's I'll applaud. It's a nice sentiment. I think it's a little misguided. Okay, quite frankly, put all that effort and energy and get more kids of all colors, quite frankly, who want to play the game.
More kids playing the game, the new speeded up game. I think that helps as well. Access to the
Tom,
game.
It's not speeded up at the college level. For those that maybe don't watch regular season college baseball, even though they've introduced the clock, all right. This college baseball NCAA playoffs, these games are interminable sometimes. My goodness, move it along. Every pitch called from the dugout, 37 meetings at the mound. Come on, it's baseball. You throw it, you hit it, you catch it.
Yeah, and they have a pitch clock. So
I know they do, but they're not nearly. I just went to a college baseball small conference tournament a week ago. They're not nearly a stickler with the clock. They start it very late.
5 SEC teams making it to the Super Regionals out of 11.
Yeah, but you know what?
Yeah.
There were 5 regionals in which an ACC school was the 1 seed and an SEC school was the 2 seed. And the ACC school kicked them.
Yeah. The ACC putting Clemson, Virginia, Florida State, and NC State into the Super Regionals. So we'll see. If Tennessee and Kentucky are almost a lock to get to Omaha, I think Georgia has an excellent chance at home against NC State. Florida, Clemson, that would be an upset. I'd love to see the Gators get in there. I think we're going to have 3, maybe 4. 4, that's half the field in Omaha. 3 would still be impressive, but I think a lot of people in the SEC, I had 11 teams in the tournament. If only 3 get to Omaha, that's a disappointment.
Well, it's where the demographics are. It's where baseball is most popular. With the demise of the Pac-12, I think there's only going to be more SEC and ACC schools in the college tournament, and then in the Supers, and then in Omaha.
With you transitioning with your job with CBS and Gary Danielson and transitioning to doing Big Ten games, How is this? I mean, how many years, 14, 15 years, covering the SEC, which is a lot of research. It's not like you just show up on Saturday in an SEC game alongside Gary Danielson and say, hey, look who's playing. You're doing research all week long. How does this impact your time and effort in terms of history and digging into numbers and into players and the prep that you do when you're really not covering the SEC anymore, but you're still in SEC territory?
I have to do a lot more work. I have to do more work about our Saturday broadcast. And then the Saturday broadcast just kept me more in touch with the SEC, which made it easier to do a sports talk show in the South.
Sure.
So I have to devote a lot more time, effort, and energy now. This year, I've spent a couple $100 subscribing to everything.
Yeah.
To be as up to date on the two major conferences as humanly possible. And it's not going to be easy. 18 years, by the way. I mean, I feel as if we, because CBS had the SEC for nearly 30 years, but that, Gary's first year was 06. And I really think that, if you want to go back to LSU winning splitting the title in 03 and the undefeated Auburn team in 04, I get it. But, 06 was Urban and Tebow and Nick showed up the next year. And we feel as if in 30, 40 years when they talk about the SEC that, most of the 18 years that I was fortunate enough to be in press boxes for is going to be considered the golden era of SEC football.
Or the birth of something that lasted, forever. I think the back-to-back Florida wins is the beginning. That's the threshold. When they went back-to-back with Florida, one of which they were an underdog in, I think at that particular point in time, that's when the SEC begins that historic run. And both those guys go into the College Football Hall of Fame this year without a doubt. Urban Meyer and Nick Saban, they go in. I don't know if any other coaches go in. I hope that they don't, just for the fact that these guys need to go in alone and together. And I just hope that Urban Meyer doesn't have a heart attack when he sees Nick at the dinner.
Actually, they've gotten pretty chummy.
Have they?
Yeah.
Good.
They've done a few things together, and, they'll be good. I also think what they represent, two guys from the North who became Hall of Famers in the South. Nick.
You going Nick from West Virginia? I mean, come on. The guy's
No. But he went to
school.
Hold on. He went to school in the North. Okay. He got his first major head coaching job at Thom 25 years ago. When Nick took the LSU job, the entire industry thought he was a buffoon. A buffoon. What are you doing leaving Michigan State and the Big Ten for LSU and the SEC? And he looked at everybody and said,
hold my beer.
Michigan State is the second best school in that, and LSU's the only real school in that state. Yeah. And by the way, I think there's more talent where I'm going than where I'm coming from. And most of the sports said, you're an idiot.
Yeah. No.
And remember, he also came with no assistance. Michigan State was furious with him. They gave the job to his Bobby Williams, and they said to Bobby, you can keep the whole staff. And Nick wasn't allowed to take hardly anybody. And so he ended up hiring a bunch of young assistants. Oh, I don't know, the Kirby Smarts, the Will Muschamps, the Jimbo Fishers of the world.
Right.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, in the prep that you do to prepare, you can use your Sunday prep, but you can't really, or your Monday night prep, you really can't use a ton of that Big Ten prep, in your show, and that's what kind of sucks. It's like me with the fishing stuff that I do. It's like I spend a lot of time to do what I can do to host a national fishing show, and I can't use any of that work on my radio show for the most part.
You know what though? I do think, especially since college football, especially now with the Pac-12, the power part of it, joining the Big Ten, and then Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC. I mean, college football, for the most part, is becoming Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else. Where, the other conferences were more relevant. Notre Dame hasn't won a national title in over 35 years. I mean, basically, it's the SEC and the Big Ten, and then we'll see if anyone else has a story worth talking about. So I do think while the SEC fan is obviously hyper-focused on the SEC, they'll also be paying attention to the Big Ten. Why? That's who they're going to play in December and January. And certainly, because of what the SEC's done the last 20 years, the Big Ten's been paying attention to the SEC.
David Moulton with us here. Your friend and colleague, Troy Aikman, got the stunning news that Larry Allen suddenly passed away at age 52. Part of those great Cowboy teams of the 90s and 2000s. He's one of only 3 or 4 players, I think, that made the all-decade team in both the 90s and in the 2000s. An absolute road grader out of a very small school, Simona State, a second-round pick back when the Cowboys were able to find talent. And, that was just sad news. No real reason as to what happened. Just sudden death at age 52. And I know that's rocked a lot of the guys. We've seen them on some of the shows and stuff, a lot of the guys from those great Cowboy teams.
I haven't talked with Troy, but we have text about it. He has told me some stories over the years. There are 2 pieces of video. And first off, there's a lot of stuff that's come out in the last 24 hours. There's a 2.5-minute clip of John Madden in which they ran 5 consecutive plays, the final 30 yards against the Colts, in which they ran behind Larry Allen every play and eventually scored. And all John Madden did was talk about Larry Allen for 2.5 game minutes, 5 plays. That's it. But there's 2 highlights. First off, did you see the video of him bench pressing 700 pounds?
700, I have, yes.
Right. And then Aikman throws a pick in New Orleans, and it's a linebacker who's got the running start. And now, he's about 10 yards downfield from where Larry Allen was, but the linebacker's got the running start, and he is getting to the sideline first. So Larry Allen has to play catch up and then on a diagonal chase him down on the sidelines. And Larry Allen runs down a linebacker on an interception to keep him from scoring a touchdown. And he's a guard.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah. Crazy stuff. He was a freak athlete. There was no doubt about it, and a tremendous player on what was maybe one of the greatest definitely one of the greatest, if not the greatest offensive line ever assembled. With those guys.
And you got to figure during his era, I mean, Orlando Pace, Tony Boselli, Larry Allen, excuse me. I mean, those. If you're picking who do you think was the best offensive lineman during that 15-year run, I think Boselli played too short a period of time.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there.
Pace or Allen. Ogden started a little later. You could put Ogden in the discussion,
Tackle. How about from a guard standpoint?
For the guard, I think he was clearly the best. I think he was the best guard of the last. He might have been the best guard since John Hanna.
No, I was going to say since the ever. I think that there's John Hanna. I think you got to look at maybe Jared Kramer, and you look at Larry Allen. I mean, I think he's in the top. He's a top 3 guard of all time.
Yeah,
as far
I think he's the best guard of the last 40 years.
Yeah, I would say going back to John Hanna for sure. All right, as always, David Moulton has been our guest. Catch him every morning 5 to 7 on your drive. You want to get your Sports Jones going before you switch over to the Zone.
Can I interrupt and ask a question?
Yeah.
Is there any interest in either the NBA or NHL finals where you are?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Remember, we're the hockey capital of the South, first of all. And,
I understand, but I just didn't know. I mean, it's Florida and Edmonton.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, it's Boston and Dallas. I just didn't know if there was any interest or if those teams just didn't, strike a nerve.
It might be more in the hockey side even than the basketball. Oh, I was going to ask you a question, too. I heard it on Dan Patrick this morning. I thought it was a fantastic question. I'll give you a choice. And this is an interesting answer to it, possibly. You can be courtside at the NBA final, or I'll give you a seat on the glass at the NHL Stanley Cup final. Which are you taking? The glass at the Cup final or the courtside at the NBA?
Even though I enjoy hockey more, the glass is the courtside's a better seat.
It is, and that's what I was trying to say.
I mean,
they asked the question
I much prefer
wrong.
hockey.
Yeah.
Much prefer hockey. But if you're giving me the Nicholson seats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's about as good as a seat can get at a sporting event.
See, I agree with that the question being asked that way. But if you said to me, and I spent a lot of time, I did pregame for the Nashville Predators, so a lot of time at Preds games. If you said to me, top of the lower bowl, I'd rather watch a hockey game from the top of the lower bowl than from the glass. And
I'm totally with you.
Yeah, I mean, yes,
like if you're giving me any seat to an NBA final or any seat to a Stanley Cup final, I'd do hockey all day.
People don't. I mean, they do a great job here with the Havoc. They sold out. What, Chris? 3/4 of the game, 17 out of 24 games. They sold out the arena. Absolutely same size arena as the Germain Arena in Southwest Florida. Sold out the arena, or Lico, whatever they call it over there now. Sold out for every game for minor league hockey. They have these things, David, called ice suites. If you ever get up here, we'll take you to a game at the TOC Ice Suite. It's a suite that's right along the ice.
19 this season.
19 sellouts out of 24 home games or 28 home games, whatever it is. So they have this ice suite. And I try to and people go nuts over these ice suites because they're down there and the guys. I said, you can't see the game. You cannot see the game. I mean, put me at the top of the lower bowl.
I mean, general admission's not bad either, though.
General admission's fine. Put me upstairs. I want to see the game. I can't see the game from down there along the ice.
That's like Cowboys Stadium. I have no idea how Jerry sells those,
those box seats.
Yeah,
they're
that are even or below.
Auburn has the end zone box seats.
All you do is see media members and their butts walking around shooting the game. You don't see any of the game.
Look, Yankees, Braves. Buddy calls from a listener who listens in Rome, Georgia, calls and he says, I got a business associate that has some tickets, those $750 tickets with the all-you-can-eat, down in the lower boxes, David.
Right.
And he says, come on over for Yankees Braves. I said, we'll get some other tickets for my sons and for some of the guys that are. My son sat in the mezzanine level, the 100 level.
It was nice.
And then you guys at the radio station sat in the 400s.
300. That was the 300 near the foul pole.
You're out by the foul pole. And I was shaking hands with Aaron Judge. I was down in like row 4. You know what I mean?
No shade in those seats, though.
No, there's no shade down there. And they're like music. They're like theater seats. Like music.
Right.
The food was great. Right. It was great to have a drink. The food was great. And literally, I got to see just exactly how big Aaron Judge is because we were right behind the thing. The game itself, though, to watch the game, couldn't see the game. It was hard to watch the game. In San Francisco, they got dugout seats. They got those little dugout seats that are – you can't see anything. Stop me if I'm lying. Yeah.
But free food though.
Food
once you pay the $750.
You know what happened? You go inside. Oh, we were comped. Last time I bought a ticket to a game won't be the next time. But anyway, you go inside, and everybody's inside watching the game on the TV, eating food, and watching the game on the big screen.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Very quickly, I went to Game 6, Panthers Rangers. $70 to park.
Wow.
Yeah, $70 to park.
Edmonton in 6. Am I lying?
Oh my goodness! I would empty my savings account on the Panthers.
I know. I like the Oilers. I'm from back in the Gretzky days. That's my late night team. After my wife falls asleep, I watch Oiler games. I love them.
Well, what's good about this? Florida's never won the Cup. They've been around for 30. This is their 31st season and 30th because the one season got eliminated, and Edmonton hasn't won it since 1990. So this is cool. It's going to be a fan base that either's never won it or, when you get to 34 years, it feels like you've never won
TV
it.
numbers up 24% for the Western Conference Final, and that includes a market that is not metered because it was a Canadian city. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that is nuts, man.
I do think this is really going to put it to the test, though. I mean, not having the Rangers – Florida, Edmonton, this is going to be very interesting to see whether or not all the momentum that hockey's had this year in television numbers, whether it stays or whether the Panthers are just too bad of a draw.
It's
even though they're a tremendous team.
It's Mayberry, Canada against South Beach, USA. So we'll see how it goes. They're a very frustrating team to if you're pulling for the other team. They are so smothering. They just smother
best
you.
5 on statistically this year, they gave up the fewest goals 5-on-5 in the league. So it's very tough to score on them.
Can't get a shot off against those guys. And that's the great dichotomy here. Great defensive team against a great offensive team. So it's a great matchup. And I say Celtics in 6. I'll pull like mad for Uncle Drew and Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks, but I don't think they can do it.
Don't you want to see, and I know you got a break, don't you want to see Kyrie, who apparently is the most reviled figure in sports to the Boston sports fan these days. In all the major sports, there's no athlete they hate more than Kyrie Irving. No matter what happens in games 2 through 7, I just want to see Kyrie score 40 in game 1 and have the Mavs win. And then whatever happens the rest of the way happens, but I just want to see that.
So 40 in game 1, and they steal game 1 in the Garden, or hits the game winner in game 7. I want to see him hit the game winner in game 7 in there and walk off. That's what I want to see him. I want to see him walk off with the game winner against
done it before.
Celtics. So make it happen. All right, man. Appreciate you. Keep up the great work over on Talk Radio WCCN. Tune him in and hear him and Miller go at it. They do a great job.
It sounds
Miller and
great.
Moulton. Yeah, it is. It's great, and we've been listening, and it sounds really good. And hit those guys up. How do they communicate with your show during the show? They got like a text thing or an email or
We do. We have a text line. We have the Twitch chat room.
Okay.
Trust me. I mean, you can tell it. If you tell us we suck, we'll see it.
All right, there you go. Tell them they suck. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Be good.
All right, we get a break in here. When we come back, short segment next, so we can get our clock straightened out, and we'll do that right after this. It's the Tom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
T-minus 3, 2, 1, Trash Panda Nation, ignite the fun, let's rock it.
Your Trash Pandas are back in the Rocket City. Tuesday night marks the start of another 6-game homestand at Toyota Field as the Rocket City Trash Pandas take on the Chattanooga Lookouts. This homestand is packed full of promotions, including Cat Rescue Night on Thursday and Negro League Tribute Night on Saturday. Get your tickets for the whole week now at tptix.com.
Let's rock it.
When you're selling or purchasing real estate, you want to deal with thoroughly experienced professionals. Empire Title Alabama provides quality title, closing, and settlement services here in North Alabama and statewide. With over 4 decades of combined experience, Empire Title Alabama can handle many types of real estate transactions, including residential, commercial, and refinance. Contact Empire Title Alabama LLC today at 256-533-2002 or online at empiretitleal.com.
HydroFest returns to Guntersville Lake June 29th and 30th with 4 classes of boats racing on the fastest water in the South with 2 days of racing. Gates open at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, and the fully restored world record speed holder, Miss US 1, will be on the water for exhibition runs for the first time in 62 years. There'll be food trucks, a kids splash zone, and other entertainment, making HydroFest the best place to be on the last weekend in June. Tickets start at just $15 for a day pass. Tickets and tailgate spaces available at GuntersvilleLakeHydroFest.com. Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma.
I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
It's freezer season at Owen Home Appliance Center. So if rising temps have that freezer on its last leg, check out the name brand frost-free upright and chest freezers. Best of all, Owen Home Appliance has them in stock and ready to go or have delivered. Don't let all that high-dollar food go to waste. Go to Owen Home Appliance Center and get that new freezer. And while supplies last, get a $50 gift card towards the purchase of Wagyu beef when you purchase a freezer. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Thank you for making us your #1 choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm ready for it.
Don't forget that coming up at the end of the month, it's HydroFest out at Gunnersville Lake. June 29th and 30th, 4 classes of boats racing on the fastest water in the South. 2 days of racing, Saturday and Sunday. Gates will open at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Fully restored world record speed holder Miss US 1 will be on the water for exhibition runs for the first time in 62 years. They got food trucks down there, a kids splash zone, other entertainment, making HydroFest the place to be in the last weekend of June. Tickets start at just $15 for a day pass. Tickets and tailgate spaces are available. GunnersvilleLakeHydroFest.com. All right, Grizz. We're going to try something out here. It's going to be a little bit of a problem. We'll see. I'll try something out.
What's going on?
I got to have my afternoon coffee. I'm out of sorts when I'm here in the palatial studios of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. When I'm here,
you're at liberty of what they have downstairs at the neighbors.
I'm very much. I am a routine guy, big time.
Yes,
I'm a routine guy.
Yeah.
Last night, I made burgers on the grill, and my wife boiled
Very
up
nice.
some corn on the cob.
Yeah.
Her sister is here from New York, so we had corn on the cob and burgers, classic summertime meal. And I'm eating my burger, getting ready to have my corn on the cob. I got the corn on the cob cooling down in a little tray thing. My wife puts my corn on the cob on the tray, and she put it backwards. I told her, you put it backwards. And she goes, what do you mean backwards? I said, the fat side goes on the left. The skinny side always goes on the right.
Yeah.
She goes, are you kidding me? Are you really that neurotic? I'm like, no, I'm not neurotic. I just don't want my fat side on the left. And so I put it there, and then her and her sister, they eat like half their burger, and then they start eating the corn. Then they put the corn down, take another bite of the burger. I'm like, what the hell are you people doing?
Yeah.
And they're like, we're eating our corn and our burger. I said, you don't eat the corn until you finish the burger. You don't stop eating the burger. How do you eat a half a burger and then put the burger down once the burger comes off the plate?
I would destroy the corn before I ate the burger.
No, then the burger's cold.
I know, but I could still just destroy the burger.
And I gotta have
the corn.
two-
You butter that corn up, man. Oh man, that's the best
It
part.
might be two, maybe
you
three.
boil it or you put it on the grill.
It might be 2 or 3 pieces of corn. So once I start on the corn, I can't stop. So it's always fat side on the left. And always, my wife picks up her corn and she just starts eating in the middle of the cob.
You have the
And
little
she eats a
things,
little
or
bit-
do you
no,
just grab the cob?
She does. I don't do that. I'm like, I don't
You
do
burn
that.
your hand. You're
No,
like
I'm a corn snob. I love corn on the cob, and I really love
cream
early
corn, corn on the cob.
No, corn on the
with
cob.
Popcorn.
No, popcorn and corn on the cob. Popcorn on the cob.
Cream
is really
corn
cool
is
too, if
amazing.
you
I'm
could do that.
sorry.
No, I'm not
My
a
grandmother's cream corn is amazing.
Cream corn's kind of gross.
No.
But we have tools. We have these little trays that look like corn. The corn on the cob sits in the corn tray and catches all the butter.
Yeah.
And then we have a buttering tool. We have a tool that has a little. It has a little cupped end in it,
Okay, yeah.
and
No,
you
I
stick a butter in it, and then it has a little plunger on the top, and you butter your corn like this here, and instead of taking a knife to it and putting the corn on that way, and you waste all
That's
that butter.
fancy.
Yeah, it's just good. So she has one and I have one. I let my sister-in-law use mine. So anyway, to butter the corn, got the corn there, but you don't eat the corn till you finish the burger.
I had to do that one time at a fancy restaurant. I had to pour the butter, melt it in and pour it on the. Yeah, it was.
So my wife, she
was
just
kinda
starts in
fancy
the
like
middle
that.
and she eats a little bit to the left and she goes to the right a little bit, goes around. I'm typewriter guy. I eat typewriter
Yeah,
style,
yep.
left to right, left to right, left to right until it's
Destroy
done.
that cob.
Until it's done. You get every kernel until it's done. She's just eating wherever. And I'm like, how could you do that? It's just so wrong.
My mom would take a knife to it and would cut the corn off the knife. I'm just like, we could just make you a pot of corn if you want.
So my routine is my daily routine is that I have coffee at 6:30 with my breakfast. My wife makes me bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel, or bacon, egg, and cheese on a muffin, I should say, every single morning. Bacon, egg, and cheese on an English muffin. Same routine every morning. And I have my coffee with that. Then I have my second cup of coffee at 11:30 before the show. I eat lunch at 11:30, and I have the second cup of coffee at 11:30. And it's routine, except for when I'm here. And then when I'm here, everything is out of whack. We do our staff meeting. That ends at 11:15.
Yeah.
I send Captain Cool to go get some lunch. She brings back lunch. I eat the lunch. I stuff that down, and I don't have a chance to have coffee before the show. So I just went down and got a cup of coffee.
Right.
All right? And then I got to
Keurig
meet.
coffee.
Well, Wes, as soon as we're done with this thing here, I got to go meet with Wes. So so I get the cup of coffee with the thing. There's no sweetener.
Nope.
Now, I drink frou-frou coffee. I'm going to be honest with you. As manly as I am, I know you guys
I just drink black coffee.
I know.
I mean, every
I know.
time. I know I'm going to get to that point where I can't, but
No, that's
I'm
the
gonna
way to
enjoy
do it. You're doing it the right way. That's the man way to do it. In this case here, you're the man, and I'm the
I don't
frou-frou.
care about the sweetener and all that
I'm
stuff.
the frou-frou.
I get sick when I do it.
French vanilla,
Yeah.
hazelnut.
Yeah.
That's what I got to have with the coffee. So I got the French vanilla in the coffee, and there's no two sweeteners, 2 sweet and lows,
Right.
and the French vanilla I put in there. But there's no sweetener down there. So I'm now drinking a cup of coffee with no sweetener in it. And to be honest with you, I can't even tell. Let me see.
Yeah, and it's Keurig because it's the.
Wow, I can't even tell.
They've got the donut shop copy.
Oh, that's the one
Yeah.
I do. I don't drink the some people, they got to have the cup. My brother-in-law, he's got the press. and he crushes his own button.
No, I don't do that.
Beans, and then he has to press it. You push the water.
They gave
through
me
it with a
one.
press. I said, what the hell are you talking about? What do you got to press the water through the coffee thing for?
Yeah.
Just make a dang cup of coffee.
Keith's neighbors gave me like 2 mugs from some coffee stuff that his wife had got, and he didn't like. I mean, he didn't want it, but it was actually coffee grounds when I realized it, and I was like, I don't have anything. I was like, I don't have a grinder. I was like, I don't have anything to actually make the grounds.
Can
for
I
this.
tell you something?
What's up?
This cup of coffee is better without the sweetener in it than it is with the sweetener.
Yeah, those little carrot cups, they have like the perfect amount.
I mean,
you get
just
it
in general. I
Yeah.
mean, I have the same thing at home. So
Yeah.
I have never had a cup of coffee without sweetener in it. This is better.
I mean, I drink. I literally will just like choose. I'll go to Walmart and just choose something, and I chose, I guess, Black Rifle because it has a little bit more caffeine in it. And I have one of the medium roast. I think Spirit of 76 or something like medium roast, and it tastes good. Black. I mean, I don't have any sweetener or anything.
Black Rifle. That company was started in Manchester, Tennessee, about 20 miles from me.
I always love the little. I mean, I know people are like,
vets
oh, it's a vet thing, or it's more of a far right thing, or whatever. I'm just a coffee nut, and I just pick
because they're veterans. It makes it because they're far right.
Because I think some people don't like the coffee brand because of it. You know what I mean?
We don't like our military. We don't like our
That's
veterans.
what I'm saying. Some people just don't like your military, don't like your veterans.
Yeah, it's right
You know
wing
what I mean?
coffee.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you
Like,
can't drink that coffee. It's
I
right
think
wing coffee.
because when I grab it, sometimes people are like, "Oh, you're getting that," and I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm a coffee nut. I'll drink whatever. Give me the McCafe coffee or whatever. You know, I'll drink that."
What is
too.
left wing coffee? Do we know what left
I
wing
have
coffee? Are you
no
afraid if
idea.
you drink a
No
Black
idea.
Rifle coffee that your politics might lean
Starbucks?
to the right?
Is it
Starbucks would be there. There
Is
you
that
go.
Starbucks.
Starbucks. Yeah.
You go to Walmart and you buy the Starbucks coffee.
Jeez. All right, let's give it a break. We'll come back. Final segments next. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Our customers want best-in-class solutions. That's why we've recently added many new vendors like Zebra barcode printers. Our next level team has added premier automation solutions. We're not here to sell you just one product, and we love helping you find the right solution to your specific needs. That's what doing the right thing is all about, and that's why our customers have come back for over 50 years.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota.
They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast all afternoon, even as we head into the evening. Now, the day is not going to be a complete wash, but just understand that scattered showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast through the entirety of the afternoon. We're going to keep with this opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head into the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. As a matter of fact, it's going to stick with us through Wednesday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Minuteman Press. For all your printing and promotional needs, it's Minuteman Press. They do a wonderful job for us from everything that we have done. They do it at Minuteman Press, including all the program information and certificates and everything that we do for the upcoming Woody Anderson Ford Rocket City Awards, presented by the National Sports Council. Minuteman Press does a tremendous job with that. I needed some stuff for the church. Minuteman Press did that. They just do a tremendous job at Minuteman Press. By the way, if you want to come to the event, there are tickets available, $100 on the floor and $50 in the balcony to take in all of the fun down there and the meet and greet and so on. It's great. The meet and greet brought to us by TOC beforehand, and you get a chance to mingle with the athletes and coaches and so on. They are all you need to do is send an email. Send an email to 977WZZN at gmail.com. 977WZZN at gmail.com, and we'll get you hooked up with that. What are we going to do tomorrow, by the way? Did we decide? We're going to do puck and hoops on Thursday.
Yeah.
Hockey puck and hoops. We're going to do that on Thursday. So all you got to do is give me who's going to win and in how many games in both the basketball and the hockey playoffs. In the finals that we're now to the finals. You just give that to me. We're doing it Thursday because the basketball starts Thursday night, and everybody who gets it right gets fed. Everybody who gets it right gets fed. All right, we got food from everywhere. It seems like we got food from everywhere. So we'll have that for you on Thursday. Tomorrow, I may come in and say hello.
We got 20, 30 minutes.
We might do that.
We can promo it.
We might do that, or we might just, play
the Braves.
Braves pregame actually starts. There's the extended pregame. We might just do that. That starts, 75 minutes before first pitch?
Yeah.
Braves and Red Sox. Go Braves.
Go Braves. Chop on.
Coming up next, Paul Feinbaum Show. And then Wes and Steve with The Drive. It's all right here on your home for Alabama sports and pretty much everything else. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.